Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Catherine podcast. I'm so happy to be back, and I've been missing that intro song for so long. So, today's episode is episode 7, and it is called The Gifts of Beauty and Song. Originally, I actually wanted to name this episode The Architecture of Imagination, but then I just thought, actually, The Gifts and Beauty and Song sounds a lot more sweet and romantic, and that's really the essence of today's episode is this sort of inquisitive, playful, romantic Walt Disney enchanted spell that I feel like I've been under a Sleeping Beauty Walt spell because I just recently learned how to play the Sleeping Beauty Waltz by Tchaikovsky, which is actually in the Walt Disney Sleeping Beauty movie on the piano. And I'm just thinking about, oh, that's all the Disney princesses and Aurora has always been my favorite. I've always loved Sleeping Beauty. I loved just like the beautiful artistic expression, the castle, the prince, Aurora, who I think is so beautiful, and just I wanted to talk about beauty, the importance and significance about beauty and music, song. So, The Gifts of Beauty and Song is this track in the Sleeping Beauty motion soundtrack. And I'm not sure if you watched Sleeping Beauty, but if you haven't, you should. And there's a scene where the three good fairies, they arrive, hail to the Princess Aurora. So Aurora's born, and the three good fairies come and bestow gifts for her, and it's the gift of beauty, the gift of song, and then oh my goodness, Maleficent appears, and then everything stops, and then she's cursed. But I love that. Just thinking about that song, and oh my goodness, I every time I think about Sleeping Beauty, I just like tear up because it's like such a beautiful movie, and um, yeah, my goodness, I didn't think about it. It just makes me miss home a lot, and makes me think a lot about my childhood and how much I really just loved. I think just growing up as a kid watching like Aurora, I was like, oh my goodness, so like there's something about beauty. I think that for me, beauty fashion, it's more than what meets the eye. It gives me resilience. Okay, I think that's what I really wanted to say. It gives me a lot of strength and power during really, hard times, difficult times, challenging times. And that's why I really love the arts and music, and it just gives me a lot of motivation to just keep going on, even when things are really, really difficult. So yeah, I was just thinking about Three Good Fairies, and I was just thinking that, oh my goodness, if I have a kid one day or a pet, I hope the three good fairies will come and they'll, bestow some gifts to my kid or my dog. So I was just like, oh, this is so sweet. So I also went back to Russian lessons. I recently found like a fantastic Russian tutor, and we were kind of listening to. I was actually reading this poem by Alexander Pushkin, "I Loved You," and I was like, oh my goodness, I miss reading Cyrillic, and it was just really nice. But yes, going back to this sort of inquisitive nature about Disney, I went to the Huntington Library for the first time in Pasadena, and it was splendid. It was exquisite. It was everything that I kind of hoped it would be and envisioned it. And I had so many friends. I'm based in Los Angeles, and I had many friends who told me like, Catherine, you would love the Huntington, you would love the Shakespeare Garden. I'm like, sure. What's in Pasadena? So I made a trip to Pasadena because they had this Walt Disney inspiring Walt Disney and the French decorative arts exhibition, and it was wonderful. I loved everything about it. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that I found at the museum and the store. I always love going to those like art stores where you finish the museum exhibition, you go for a nice lunch, which I had a wonderful lunch at the Chinese garden. It was called the Jade Court. It was so beautiful. I mean, the gardens at the Huntington are, it's like there's so much you have to walk so much, but it's so worth it because it's just so like the aesthetics, it's just so pleasing to the eye and it's very soothing at the same time. But yes, let me show you a couple of things that I got from the store. Here's the first one. I got this black and white Huntington custom prints, and it's this British 17th century, and it's called Ridiculous Taste or the Lady's Absurdity. It's just like a lady with very, very big and tall hair, and she's sitting, and her two servants are just like kind of like looking at her and making her hair look really nice. I thought it's like, oh, this is me. And what did I want to talk about? Yeah, I wanted to. Oh yeah, Disney. We haven't talked much about Disney, have I even? Oh yes, Disney. Let me show you this one. This book is called The Inspiring Walt Disney Book that you can pick up at the Huntington Library, and it's just a collection of all his artistic artworks and all the scenes that you've seen in Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast. And I'm going to read you this passage, which when I read this, I just laughed so much. Pink castles, talking sofas, and a prince turned into a teapot. What sounds like the fantasies of American dream maker Walt Disney were in fact the figments of Rococo Paris. Inspiring Walt Disney, the animation of French decorative arts is in the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So I was just like, that was so so cute. I mean, just imagine a bunch of household servants turned into inanimate objects. Like, like it doesn't get any better than that. And then I love this the preface. I don't know how you pronounce it, but you must be bold, darling, asserts Lumiere. Bold, darling, repeats the beast. So, just been thinking about a lot of just like Disney movies, and maybe tonight I'll watch a Disney movie now. I've always watched Sleeping Beauty on repeat. I could watch Sleeping Beauty like two, three times in a row and I would never get bored. But maybe tonight I should switch it up. Maybe I should watch. I watched Cinderella already. Maybe Beauty and the Beast. I've never liked Beauty and the Beast just because it was so. I guess for me it was too violent. I don't have a very high pain threshold. So I love things that are just happy and romantic and there must be a fairy tale. She's going to meet the prince and they're going to be reunited. That's how I like things. And Beauty and the Beast, it was just like this, the fairy tale was just so long. Like the ending, I'm like, okay, hurry up, hurry up. So I kept skimming it. Um, but maybe that will be a great movie to watch tonight. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, I really like the Huntington, and I recommend if you ever are in LA to check the Huntington Library in Pasadena. You should definitely look at the Shakespeare Garden where they have beautiful roses, and then check out the Chinese garden. They have beautiful koi fish, and then the Japanese garden too. I actually didn't have time to go to the Japanese garden because it was just too far. Okay, the Huntington Library, it is a very, very big I was going to call it arena. It's just a very big place. It is the scale of Disneyland. So just make sure you bring your walking shoes because I was like, oh, it's a museum, like maybe something like the Norton Simon Museum, which I've been before. I'm like, just wear my flats and take a nice leisurely walk and go to the Jade Garden Court and have my lunch there and then go to the Walt Disney exhibition. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I came home with this blisters on my ankle. So please wear comfortable walking shoes because it is a very tedious long walk and quite arduous. But then when you get there, you're like, oh, so worth the trip. And what else? I think the reason why I love podcasts a lot is because I can just say what's on my mind. I can speak about, kind of what's in the moment. And there's something quite spiritual about that versus me speaking in front of a camera. And today I had a lot of technical difficulties, but I'm like, no, the show must go on. I must record it because normally I record my podcast and I have a really nice, like a very high quality camera. And this is the first time where I'm filming on my desktop camera, which I'm not a big fan of. I love aesthetics and I always want to keep everything consistent, but not today. But I'm like, okay, we just have to keep going. And then what else is new? My goodness, it is Christmas now in Los Angeles, so you know, I am not going back home yet. I haven't been home for a while. My sister is back in Vietnam, so lucky her. But I've heard Vietnam is so nice. I mean, there's always new coffee shops, which I really miss. I mean, I really miss that about Vietnam. The sort of taking life. I mean, every day is a bit more slow paced compared to Los Angeles, and I miss that. I really miss that. My soul is like I need to go back home and see family and have that sort of like not senior citizen life. I don't want to say that, but like just taking life a bit more on a slower pace. But yeah, that is all for today's podcast. I'm so happy, and I hope you enjoy this podcast and more episodes to come soon. Have a wonderful Christmas holiday season, whatever holiday you celebrate at home. And I will check back within you guys. I will check back next year. It's going to be January. How fast? Okay, bye. Thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Bye.